What's up? Big Central Wednesday, March 20th. What? Victor Scott. He's not on there?
No.
All right, we'll have to get him on there. Little tip for baseball. We're digging for winners. Speaking of winners, DraftKings is a winner. This year, the thrill and the excitement of March Mania is here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps, in my opinion, the top-rated sportsbook app, is giving new customers a shot to turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets with any college basketball bet. You got games tonight. You got games all day tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and what's the best part, Moni?
Sunday?
Games on Sunday all day as well. They stopped jamming them in. They spread them out all night like we want. You got the 1 seeds against the 16s. You can pick upsets, player props. There's various different things you can do with DraftKings. North Carolina listeners, don't forget, DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in your state. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code PICKCENTRAL, PICKSCENTRAL. New customers can bet $5 to get $150 instantly in bonus bets only at DraftKings Sportsbook. With code PICKCENTRAL, the crown is yours. Thank you very much to DraftKings. We were looking at DraftKings last night. The Pelicans fucking slowed down in the second half for me.
Damn.
Needed that.
Brutal.
Needed that. So we'll take it. All right, big story out of last night. I think it's one or the other. The good story is what Wagner did. The bad story
I think there's
is
only
that
one story.
is the fact we had to watch Virginia again and that nobody saw this coming, or why the committee was the only ones who didn't see this coming. Like, I know past tournament experience shouldn't play a factor in what's going on, because by that rationale, every year Duke, Kentucky, Kansas, Carolina should all get 1 seeds. You base the teams off of this year. But maybe a little of that subconscious should take a toll on Virginia. I mean, first-round exits after first-round exits. The championship is actually the most insane thing to me in all the sports that they went and won one, given everything else around that. You know what I mean? They've been a underachieving type of program. Horrific style of basketball. Absolutely just something I don't want to watch. And here they are again in the tournament. We got to watch them in a standalone game.
But I would have said it's not even so much about the style of play, although it is horrific. They just weren't good. They were the one team that ever, and I really don't think it was as much style of play. Like I said, as much they just they didn't have a lot of good wins. I mean, the ACC was really down.
They didn't even beat anyone.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I pulled that up.
They played like the good ACC teams. Like they got their Duke blew their doors off.
Duke killed them.
They were bad. They were the one even I said about the Mountain West getting teams in. I still kind of stand by that as opposed to the Big East. But there still were some big like Virginia was the unanimous team that America was like, why is this team in the tournament? And the committee looked like absolute idiots because they were, and I bet on them because I was like, they can't. Everyone's gonna be against them. Like they can't be. I watched them play a lot this year. They were bad, but last night was truly they were atrocious. I mean, they didn't score for the last 9 minutes and 30 seconds of the first half, and not like no field goals. Didn't score a single point. In over a 10-minute stretch, it bled into the second half that they didn't score. A quarter of the game, they just did not score a point.
Yeah, they're fucking horrible.
Awful. Oh my God.
Yeah, when you put it like that, that's when you really start.
That's crazy.
A quarter of the game.
At one point they were 5 for 30 from the field.
Yeah. No, it's a brutal style to watch, and it hasn't been overly successful to a degree. Now, great, they won the what? They won the championship. They won the championship. They did. They won that 1 year, and they won the championship.
Not successful, but
overall, there's been a lot more of those years of them just grind. Like you're just watching fucking grinding ass basketball, and they don't win.
This is why Virginia is Tony Bennett's. I don't care what you say. Tony Bennett's a good coach. He's just a good coach.
Yeah.
What they are fucked going forward, no matter what. With this NIL, with the change of how college basketball mock-up is, they are fucked because they would develop players. They can't get these grad transfers. Their graduate program is one of the hardest things to get into. They don't get easy guy. You can't do it for their school. It's also hard to get into their school. They're also having NIL problems, so they're not able to get these guys and develop them anymore, and have them play this defense, and then the kids just don't want to do that anymore. So Virginia, I think, is very fucked going forward in college basketball because they're not changing with the times, and I don't think that's why it happened last night. They just weren't a good team. Like, again, I'll take my ACC hat off. Yeah, they did not deserve to be in. There's 20 teams deserved to be in before them. They didn't beat anybody. I honestly, even after I thought like after they would like talk about how they got in, oh, that makes sense. It made me more mad. I don't even know how they got in. It makes no sense. They should be ashamed of themselves, committee, because there were so many teams that deserved to be in. If you told me St. John's, Oklahoma, Seton Hall, Indiana State,
Pitt,
any of those teams that got in, I'd have no problem if they lost and had 26 points at one point. I would have no problem with it. It would suck, but that game sucked, but they deserved to be in. This team never deserved to be in. And also, shout out Nicky Mush. It's his birthday today. He was fucking screaming at me last night about Seton Hall not being in there.
Yeah, the Big East got absolutely fucking hosed. Like, that's the take I come out of it as well. Like, when you watch St. John's play Connecticut, again, I'm not St. John's look like a fucking basketball team.
Oh,
St. John's look like one of the best
they gave
34 at-large teams.
Really tough game.
You watch Seton Hall. Seton Hall was a bunch of fighters. Seton Hall looked like they should have been in the tournament as well. So, and I know St. John's only won 1 out of the 3 against Seton Hall in that series, correct?
Well, they blew them out the last game.
They beat them in
twice.
Seton Hall,
St. John's won 1 out of the 3.
And it was the
last one. I wanted to make sure they got swept. These days, you never know. I wanted to make sure they got swept in the season. So
make sure you ask us before.
So those two got hosed. Oklahoma, I would have. Oklahoma plays in the best league in the country. Oklahoma's got a place to stand on that.
There's another team in the ACC.
Indiana State would have had a lead. You shouldn't go for storylines.
You'd be okay with Pitt.
Yeah, I would have been.
Different people.
Yeah, I would have been okay with Pitt.
You'd rather than Virginia.
I would have been better with the other ones. I would have been better with Indiana State.
What we're not talking about enough is that Colorado State ain't that good either. They
got Isaiah Stevens is really good.
I don't think they're that good. They came in did they come in 7th in the Mountain West?
I thought it was 6th.
That was kind of my take too. Was
people were 6th. They may have been.
Came in fucking 7th place in the Mountain West.
That's a hard fucking league, though.
The Big East is hard too. Only 3 people got in 7th place.
Yeah, but you can compare the Big East more to Virginia. You can't compare I guess you're comparing to.
I think it's both. I think it's both.
Yeah, but if you're 8th or 9th in the Big Ten, nobody even bats your eye.
It's a Big Ten.
I think the Big Ten gets a little bit more of a reputation than they should. Every year in and year out, you finish sometimes under 500 in the Big Ten. It's a tough league. It's maybe they're not that good as well.
The Big Ten is, I don't think, it does get a little overrated, but it's also better than the Mountain West.
Yeah.
The Mountain West just...
I mean, it was that was because I saw some people, because I had a stance about the Big East versus Mountain West. So people were like, put some respect on Mountain West. And I was like, listen, no disrespect to Colorado State, but I was like, if you were taking from that game was how good Colorado State is, I was like, guy, this is the first game of basketball you watched this year. Because listen, they're a solid team. Virginia's awful.
But you just said Virginia didn't score for 9 minutes. They were down 9 points. That's where Colorado State didn't fucking do shit either. They didn't
score for the last 9 minutes and 30 seconds, and they were down 13.
That's what I'm...
They didn't score for half of the half.
Yes.
They were down 13 points.
And that's where I don't find... Who's Colorado State play now? Texas?
Yes, Texas.
I'm taking Texas. And Texas ain't even good.
The only thing I'm worried about is those teams, it's basically a team that wins from Colorado Boise. Colorado State is probably going to win a game.
But I think
seems to always happen.
Who's the Colorado matchup after that?
Florida. It's a tough game, but they play no defense.
I could see
I love Florida. No, I could see Colorado. I think it's better than Colorado State.
Yeah.
But I mean, Boise. Well, I won't just cash Colorado already. Obviously, Boise State. We'll see how good the Mountain West is. They have a lot of these tough games, a lot of close spreads. But go back to Virginia too. It's super because even they're obviously a team that won national title, and those teams that were better than these teams that were top seeds as opposed to fringe tournament teams, they could actually score a little bit.
Yeah,
they had real real NBA. They had DeAndre Hunter. They had Brogdon early on. They had Kyle Guy was a shooter. They had Ty Jerome. And I know a lot of those guys didn't have staying power in the NBA besides Brogdon and Hunter. I think Hunter's still like doing his thing, but I mean, they had like real guys like Diakate. Like they had guys that could actually score a little
All
bit.
there for a while.
That were there for a while. Like these guys are like none of these guys are real NBA guys. Have any chance? They've really
No, that's probably why they play this style.
even like
But
even that style of play that people didn't love, that they still were good. This is even taking a whole step down from that.
yeah, I mean, you have bad players playing a slow offense, so you're just trying to
Like
maintain
when they it's just
win
crazy
in the 50s.
when you watch them. Like they don't move. They don't do anything. Like they have no one's able to like get their own shot. It's just,
Bennett's offense was big on that mover blocker type thing, and I remember I said it a couple years ago. I was watching. The game came on Pac-12 like classics. It was Washington State. It's the same offense. So you give him credit. He's running. But by that token, these coaches are smart who are playing against him. They can fucking change, and they can pick it up. After years, they can like counteract it.
do you think so? Do you think it's a mix of the talent going down such a level, or do you think it's the game, like the game doesn't just fit the mold anymore? Like their game doesn't fit the mold
I think
anymore?
I mean,
you think it's a combo of both?
Yeah,
or
like
what
if you're going to run the same out of bounds play, you're going to run the same offense. Like coaches can make an adjustment. There's only so many wrinkles you can have out of his mover blocker. I think coaches caught up to him. And yeah, I do think the game evolved that you're better off running no offense. You're better off running.
You see teams like Duke with some talent just run them out.
Just running, running gun. You know, like you can dictate the pace. And I say it all the time. Even if Virginia was really, 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 really good, this slow tempo and this pace that they want to play at, they could be holding a team to 47 points over 36 minutes. If they got hot and went on 14 points in 4 minutes is not that crazy. Or if they change the pace, 13 points, they can win 60 to 55 because Virginia's not trying to score. Like when they slow it down, Virginia's playing efficient, but they're slowing down the pace. There's only a certain amount of points they can score.
See, that's the problem, though.
Or for 50 possessions, the maximum's 100. They're going to shoot 50%. The maximum they're going to score is 50 points. You know what I mean?
See, but you said it right there, though. They used to be efficient.
Right.
Now they're just they're all
just incredibly inefficient.
They used to have like less possessions, but they obviously played good defense. They still do that. That's the only thing they do.
Yeah.
They were efficient at least. Now they're just like they can't make anything.
Who from Virginia? Was it the AD or somebody liking tweets about how bad the basketball team was? Did you see that?
I did.
I didn't know about that one.
AD or somebody in the athletic department was liking tweets just saying they were trash.
I gotta look. I gotta try and find it.
And that's the worst.
I mean, this
spot
is another
to
one.
play,
This is
to lay an egg.
This is another program that's never been good our entire lives. Good run now. Won the championship.
Before we were born,
Ralph Sampson again, but that's 30.
That's what I'm saying. Like they had
years.
a run like before we were alive.
Before we were born, but from 1990 on, I don't remember Virginia ever being good.
Well, no, they weren't.
You know, so it's not a lot of history. You're not selling recruits on that.
Goes so long, so far.
It does, but you're not selling recruits on the history of Virginia. You're not selling recruits on the fact that they're turning out NBA players every year.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sorry, UVA athletic director liking tweets about how bad they are. That she liked the tweets. Hope the committee feels good about this incompetent decision to put UVA in the field. She liked the tweet.
She probably was like, "Why'd they put us in?" Like she knew it was gonna happen before we did.
She's like, "You just ruined our program for the next 2 years."
Laying an egg in that spot where all the eyes of America are on you for that one game.
Yes,
and you go like 5 for 100 from the field.
Yeah,
like they're gonna what recruits gonna see that and want to play there?
None.
And listen, Tony Bennett's he's trying to recruit a different style of guy than the normal coaches, the normal system. But I mean, you gotta watch that and be like, who the fuck wants to go
who
there?
wants to play this?
What 17-year-old kid wants like he's gotta really be very strategic in how he picks his guys. Like you gotta have some guys that play defense that can also, God forbid, you got a guy that can shoot a three.
I mean, there are a lot of kids who want to go Division I though. You know what I mean?
You mean
Virginia?
Of course,
I know, yeah, but
he's got to get like the right. If you want to run that system, you have to get like a very specific guy. And if
still gonna get,
there's not a lot of them.
Of Virginia. Like,
yeah,
you still get to play very good.
But he's not. McDonald's All-Americans ain't walking through the door.
This is a bad. No, this was definitely like a bad crop of player. He's got to find some better. He's got to do better in the transfer portal.
Yeah,
like not grads, like true like portal guys. You got to find guys that can play defense and can actually score a little bit.
There's only two ways this was going. By the way, it was either going like it did last night, or they were going to make the Sweet 16. Like there was no in between.
I agree.
Like there was no like they win this one and losing. It was like they don't deserve to be in, and then like, oh fuck, they do, and then now, or now it's like they're fucking dog shit. They don't.
Yeah. Oh man, that was so bad.
So bad.
14 points and a half.
It's impressive, actually.
14.
Hey, 2 touchdown drives is not that bad, you know.
And we're the suckers that bet them.
Yeah, I'm a fucking.
Oh, yeah,
I
you
went
guys
over
are.
this. I'm a clown.
Clown. Absolute clown I was
With
last.
the clown emoji on my face. I've been bad. I'm hoping today bounce back. I actually had kind of a good weekend. I did okay, like in Chicago, but overall,
Colorado's the play tonight.
I'm on Grambling in the over, and I'm on Colorado.
Fuck, I'm on Grambling too.
I'm going to take Colorado tonight as well. I like the Mountain West. You know what? Boise's got some fucking dog in them, too, but Colorado's got the pros. I think those kids want to play in the tournament. I think they get it done tonight. I also was – I didn't think Colorado should have been playing in. Now, I know it's a thin bubble. I thought Colorado was above average in that Pac-12, like, to a degree, kind of all year.
Yeah, I mean, no, they were very good, and
It
especially
actually shocked me after that post-game interview in the semis that they didn't win. Oregon just came to play. Altman just owns that tournament. He just owns
also too.
it.
They
owns it.
They were really they had like bad home and away splits, and then kind of like they kind of righted that ship towards the end of the year. They started playing better on the road, so you know I'm there because I said how much I love Florida. If they win this game, I think they're like Florida's that game basically. If they win the Florida Colorado game, it's like a pick 'em, or it's like I think I looked at it's like Colorado +1 if they win, and if Boise wins, it's like plus like 3.5. I think I saw. I mean, all I know is, listen, the game, knock on wood, like, can't get worse than it was yesterday.
No.
Like, Colorado Boise's got to be a better game.
Oh, even
it has to
Howard
be.
fucking Wagner was horrible and got good at the end.
Dude, I mean, and also betting Howard, I mean, all of a sudden Wagner, who did the research, was one of the worst three-point shooting teams in college basketball in the 300s.
Yeah.
And they come out in the first half and they're 2015 Warriors.
Yep.
They're making logo threes. It was crazy. So good for Wagner, but
I think Wagner. Yeah, we could touch on Wagner. That was a great story. I mean,
Howard plays.
Talk about guys
no
with dog in them.
defense.
Yeah, and Wagner. It seemed like there were a lot of fouls adding up on guys.
Told you the 7 doesn't matter though. It didn't matter whatsoever.
Yeah, they had 3 guys with 4. They had 3 guys with 4
At
fouls.
one
at
point yesterday, where you like, oh, they needed more. Like, it
No,
was just
I mean they
like,
just did the right thing. They got the
They got
stops on
cardio.
yeah,
cardio. They didn't
Boys
look
got
do.
cardio.
Yeah,
They had foul trouble. They knew they stayed out of it when they needed to. Can you stop doing that?
good.
I get those 2 every now and then, a little shake of the head.
Yeah, no. I just think that game, yesterday's games were horrible. It was 16.
Well, I think the play-ins are overrated. Everybody
Yeah,
gets
but it's
excited
still
for those
basketball.
play-ins.
It's
There's a
still
lot that I'm.
Yeah, but you could just get a
during-
classic tonight, and all of a sudden,
Yeah, I know.
Like it speeds up the process of waiting for Thursday. Where
Yes,
like we
for
have
sure.
games today, look forward to it. Then tomorrow when we wake up, it's like basically like
it's Christmas.
It's this show, and then you're watching.
Really, when this show's over, it starts. Michigan State.
And
will
like
tip at
tomorrow
12:15.
night games, like they don't even fall off. Like tomorrow's night games are even great too.
Can you see a world where we get the play-ins almost like the NBA play-in tournament? So it starts Monday night, and 12 plays 11, and the winner of that then plays 10, and they keep playing until they all get in. Like it's the teams all on the bubble.
Oh,
Like there's like
bubble
8. You
plays?
send 8 teams. Maybe it's 2 at the same time.
There's like a bubble. There's like a 2 to get in the 2.
The 2 to get in, and then
They-
those 2 to get in, and it's just
they
keeps going. So
expand-
if you're like last night, Virginia only had to win 1, or Colorado State only had to win 1, but you don't know who it might be against. It could be the 12th team down on the bubble, or it could have been Colorado. It could have been
They did like a bracket of like
Colorado
they
State.
did like
so basically, they announced who
they
the
did like
4.
they did like St. John's, Oklahoma, and they played to get the right to play the winner of
Yeah.
Colorado State, Virginia, and then the winner of that plays, and then they get to go like
Yeah.
play Florida, whoever.
Yeah. So there's there's 4 games for sure. It would have been 2 tonight. Virginia would have played 1. Colorado State would have played 1. Boise plays 1, and Colorado plays 1 tonight. And all those other teams would have been playing. Yeah, Indiana State, St. John's, Oklahoma, Seton Hall. They all would have been
It's like
fighting
an
and
8-team
fighting.
tournament for like the last spot.
Fighting until they got in. It would have been fucking unbelievable. Because by that rationale, if you're Virginia, you'd be like, well, who do we game plan for? Like, it's like, well, you only would have had a day to game plan anyway. But now you still only have to win 1 game to get in,
Yeah.
and it's against a team who could be less. I don't know. I just
If
feel
you're
like
gonna
that.
expand it like how they want to. That'd be a good way to do it. is
Just it's a
play
marathon. Yeah. It's like fucking AAU style.
McCullough out for the tournament.
All right, so I touched on this, and like people kind of bit my head off. Like Reegs was kind of like, "Oh, everybody has bad losses, and everyone has like breaks and stuff like that." It sure as fuck seems like Kansas has had a lot of bad luck over the years. a lot of injuries. Azubuike missed it twice. Self goes down with an injury to a degree, health, whatever.
Can I
This year,
explain
guys,
why you got your head bit off? You said you felt bad for Kansas.
I kind of do.
It's just,
If they didn't win,
No.
okay.
Kansas has just won a national championship. Kansas
But we've
is a
never
number
really
one
seen.
seed.
Kansas has had not a lot of breaks their
I
way.
tell you, Duke.
I
has
know they won
gotten-
that 2022 one. They needed the
They
biggest.
just won a national title. I was.
If
gonna
they
say.
didn't win that, you're talking about a stretch from 08, 09, let's say, to 2023, with a lot of times where they were the number one seed or up there, A1 seed, a high seed, and a break goes against them. Now, they've had their share of losses with Bradley back in 05 and Northern Illinois. Like, don't get me wrong. Those are – but the mix of crippling losses as, like, big favorites, which is not – I don't feel bad about that. You win the games when you show up. They should not have lost to Stanford in the second round. That's just a fact. But there also are a lot of injuries where they have not played at full strength.
I think you're insane.
All right.
I don't.
So then,
Duke-
fine. So
Duke
fine.
has
Take away
Duke
feeling.
has injuries.
Take away
UC
feeling
has
bad.
injuries,
Take
like-
away feeling bad. Doesn't it? It seems like Kansas has gone through it. Is that a fair statement to make?
No. Not at all.
A lot of guys out, man.
Dude, every team though has injuries. Like
Because
there's
to me
teams
like
where-
a bad. You want to know what's a bad break? I wish he was here. Is like Dayton having one good team like ever.
That's a
and
bad
and
break.
COVID happening.
That's a bad
having
break.
one
Big
team in the
12
history of their university that maybe could have like won national title and and
guys who
getting
get the
canceled.
best
like
recruits
that's
of all time.
like that's a bad break.
I'm never gonna say a bad break who has the best recruits of all time. They get
But guys going out right at the worst time, right before. If you went out into Thanksgiving, I'd be like, "Oh, what are you going to say? You got hurt." This is right before Big 12 tournament issues for Kansas the past 10 years. 2014, Embiid didn't play. Cliff Alexander, 2015, 2017, Josh Jackson, Azubuike, 18 and 19, 2020 pandemic, 2021 eliminated due to COVID. Oh, wow, they got knocked out because of COVID. I didn't know that. 2023, Bill Selfs. 2024, Dickinson and McCullough. That's just the Big 12.
Yeah, but Dickinson's fine.
and Bill.
They didn't play the Big 12,
But what do
which
you
may
need
have
the Big
helped
12
their
tournament
seed just
for?
to a degree. Then they also have a
I
ton
don't.
of
But what
Elite
how
Eight
would it
losses.
really help
Like,
their seed?
I don't know. Kansas is, if they didn't get that 2022 title, that's a tough fan base for it's a tough run. A ton of Elite Eight losses,
national
lost
titles
to
in the
eventual
last-
national champions,
But they've also won.
injuries.
Let me
They've
tell
been
you,
to how many Final Fours in the last like 15 years?
You couldn't be more wrong.
All right,
They won 2 national titles.
Kansas has gone through it. That's all I'm going to
in
say.
like my
I can guarantee that you can look up. I don't know it right off the top of my head, but I guarantee we can look up other teams that have gotten fucked.
What's Duke's main injury ever in the last 10 years, aside from Kyrie?
That's a one big one.
He came
There's
back,
Also, like I have to
think.
look at.
Pretty sure he came
I
back.
don't think.
Did he not come back for the
I thought
tournament?
he only played early.
Duke right now doesn't have.
You fact
one
check
of
that,
their-
Phil? I think he came back.
Well,
thought
Kyrie
he
wasn't
didn't.
10 years ago.
Yeah, that's what okay, it was 14 or
But
13.
It's
Duke
not
doesn't
10.
have Caleb
I think he only
Foster
played
right
11.
now.
Not
He only
10.
played
So I'm
11
saying, all right, so
games.
what's Duke's injuries in the last 10? What's
don't know.
Duke's bad break in the last 10?
I mean, even like this year, Caleb Foster's not playing. He's a big part of the lineup. It's just like there's people that get hurt. Like,
Fair enough. Year in, year out for Kansas. I don't know. I thought it was worth
but
knowing.
also I don't expect anyone to be like that sucks for them. Like we're Duke. You still expect it to win. If this was a team every year that was like a mid-major, yeah, maybe I'd feel bad. I just. But regardless, McCullers out for this season. I talked to Hunter yesterday. He was like, dude, he's been trying to get back nonstop. He hasn't practiced in like 6 weeks. He played those games to just try and fucking get back for the team. Didn't work. He basically met with the doctors and Kansas and was like, there's just no reason for you to ruin the rest of your career, even though you want to play. Sucks for them. That does suck for them.
He's their best two-way player.
They're not a great three-point shooting team because they have Furphy and they're supposed to have Timberlake, but he has not been great. He's the other option for the three. He's out. But Hunter is 100% and playing. Obviously, will be a big help. I think if Samford's becoming a big, sexy to beat them, I think Kansas still beats them.
You know, I've been trying to like decipher like the sexy because I think this time of year too, almost like every 10 to like 13 becomes like sexy.
I actually feel like Vermont's
or even
not
like
one.
14. Some of them.
I feel like
Vermont's not. I would say, but even like people love like Moorhead.
Yeah.
People love Samford.
Nice.
People like McNeese. People love the 12. So like they love like UAB.
Yeah.
People like
10 through
Grand Canyon.
10
People
through
like
13 usually has all like 12s.
yeah,
Obviously,
people always
11s,
love those
obviously.
teams.
But Sanford, I just don't. I
because they're like
looked at-
because they're like long, they're like realistic but like long some at the same time.
Yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure Sanford's a very. I'm not. Can we look this up real fast if we can? If not, it's all right. I'm pretty sure Sanford's a very small team. I think they're.
I don't think they have a lot of size. No.
I think they're a very small team, and I think obviously when you have a 7-2 guy, it's going to be tough.
No, Akor is their big guy, and he can play, and they shoot a ton of threes.
How big is he?
I'm not going to take a chance on that one.
This one's okay. You don't. It's just you can. Get
I don't think
If you had
he's.
to
I don't think
guess,
he's 7.
Sanford
6'10",
height.
big
Yeah, I don't
man?
think he's. I don't think he's 7'2". Let's put it that way.
I'll look it up.
All right. So tonight, you're on Boise.
I'm on Colorado.
I'm on
I put it in
Colorado.
I put it in literally when we were in Illinois. I'd already put it in.
Yeah. All right.
Colorado.
I put it in before we even left Chicago. Money line -2.
What's his name, Bosco?
Akor.
Core.
Sure as fuck, probably that's. His
I've watched Boise quite a bit.
6'9".
Yeah.
So it's
Not
still
huge, but
that's
like decent. Not huge.
6'9" being the biggest guy. Because the
He
rest,
better be like physical as hell. He better
Good
be
player.
like a bull in there.
Definitely a good player.
they do have a senior, Zach Loveday, at 7 foot.
Yeah, and then some guy, Alan Spatch, 6'11".
All right.
Yeah, but you got to look at guys who are playing.
Yeah, they're small. They're 6'2", 6'3", 6'5", 6 foot, like 5. Where's this guy 5'8"? I don't know if they play, but I'm just saying 5'11". But they're not that
That
big
usually
of a
means
team.
they're nice.
6'5" is like not big in
Right.
in college basketball.
I think just Colorado's just talented as hell. I mean, they have legit NBA guys like De Silva's good.
I'm getting nervous about people figuring out that Colorado has 3 NBA guys.
Yeah,
Because now it's like, oh, they should win, but Colorado's just good. They've struggled a little bit during the year, but they're playing better now. Obviously, got to the conference tournament championship.
So let's expand it. We've touched on the different spreads, and obviously we'll have stuff tomorrow, and we'll really be locked in. But I've asked this question all year, and I've asked it especially this month. How many teams can win a national title? Now that we have a bracket, how many teams can win a national title? I'll start in UConn's. Explain to me why anybody but UConn can win that title, and how many are there? Is it Auburn and Iowa State, or is it the fact that it's maybe a little bit more? Or is it less? Or are you just taking one of the two and you're willing to write them off?
In that side
You'll
of the
say,
bracket.
yeah, you're saying it's not Iowa State, just in
Three.
that East bracket.
It's
You
three.
think it's all 3?
Yeah.
I actually weirdly kind of think matchup-wise that Auburn would match up better than Iowa State would.
I think Auburn is going to beat UConn in the Sweet 16. I've already think that's happening.
So you have 2. Now, do you think Iowa
Well,
State
I
can
mean,
get all the
I'm
way
not going
out?
to say 2, though.
No,
because
it's
I'll
not.
say
I'm
2,
not
sure.
locking you into the 2,
I
but
think that obviously
yeah.
UConn can
Some
win the
people's
championship.
list is 35 teams. Some people's list is
I'm just
7.
saying, like, I don't want it to sound like I think UConn can for sure, obviously, is the favorite to win the championship, but I do have Auburn beating them in the Sweet 16. I think Auburn is very fucking good and matches up with them pretty well. They're tough, Auburn, as well. Iowa State, I honestly have no fucking read on them. They're obviously really good. They're a 2 seed for a reason. Just won the Big 12, beat the shit out of Houston, but I don't have a read on them of like how they would match up against it. I think their draw is pretty fucking easy though.
Iowa State's?
Yeah, Drake Washington State is like not the hardest, and then it's gonna be BYU or Illinois probably. Illinois is I don't know. I think Illinois is a beatable 3.
I think they're very beatable. I think they might be out in the first round. I know nobody really
Illinois
wants
is
to
such like a
take
weird team. I bet Moorhead already. I think I got 12.5 was the number I got. Illinois is such a weird team because they played so many of these like close games, especially in the Big Ten tournament. But they're also they have like Terrence Shannon is a stud.
Yeah, he can
they're
take over a game.
they're old as fuck too.
Mhm.
Like their whole starting lineup is just like
Hawkins
seniors
is
and
like
like
there for
graduate
10
guys.
years. But the thing
All
about,
the guys that like play a lot of minutes are like pretty much all old.
the thing about UConn, their second game is FAU Northwestern. I think they'll be fine with either one.
Yeah, I think that's yeah.
But like Sweet 16, Auburn's a tough Sweet 16 for them.
I do agree. I think, like I said, I think Auburn matches up better than Iowa State just in terms of like their style of play. Because I think Iowa State might struggle to score with UConn. I mean, UConn's just tough. We talk about they're like matchup proof.
Yeah.
They can just play like any style, any pace, and do it at an elite level. So, I mean, I don't think Auburn's gonna beat them. I think in that bracket they have the best chance to beat them. But I think I'll say I put a future on UConn at 4-1. I don't, it's chalk. Like I just think they're going to win.
I don't like when people say it's chalk. It's just like
I just really think they're gonna win. I would be truly like surprised if they were not at minimum in the Final Four. I just think they're that good. They're that much better than everyone else. I'm worried that everyone's saying that, but I put it down because
I think when making this list,
how I truly feel about it.
When making the list, I do think you need at least 2 teams in each bracket.
I'll say Auburn. Auburn's the other team. I think
I could see how you're tentative to put them on the list, but
I think whoever wins on that game wins.
100. It's gonna be. Hopefully, is a classic.
Your side is nobody can.
That's where I'm at. UNC, Bama, Baylor, St. Mary's is the 4 that I wrote down.
Anybody can. I truly don't.
So you think they all okay? But if you get to the Final Four,
I know your guy. One of them has to get to the Final Four, but I truly don't think.
Who's the 2 seed over there?
Arizona.
Okay.
This is easy.
You gotta put them in if you think they can get there. But even if they get there, they still have to beat UConn. So I get what you're saying.
They can.
You could be tentative. So all right. So then you shouldn't put that many.
I would put.
Well, it's all right. So if you think that bracket's open, you got to put a ton of them that can win a title, just for the sense they could get to the Final Four. But I get your point that not all of them can beat UConn. The further down that list you get, the less likely they are to beat UConn.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I wrote down 4 of them. I maybe could. I don't know if I could see St. Mary's cutting down the Nets.
No, absolutely.
I mean, they're a real good team. So I'll
Absolutely
cross that off. And I think Baylor's a little streaky and hasn't been playing great down there.
Baylor
the team I like the most is Baylor, but I don't think
I'll
they can beat
Baylor.
UConn either.
I mean, listen. It's gonna take a miracle defensively for Bama to win the title.
Bama ain't winning.
It's gonna take a miracle
They ain't winning
defensively.
I don't even know if they're gonna get out.
They don't
how
have
you could cross that off.
They ain't winning
I
the
could see
They're
that.
gonna get to the second weekend.
UConn might score 120 on them.
They
could like pick the number they want to score.
They can literally be like, we're gonna score 82, and then you're good.
Houston's. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting peppered.
I mean, you're getting peppered.
What do you think getting peppered means?
Tell the people.
No, I want to go through this. Houston, Duke, Kentucky, Florida, Marquette. I crossed off Marquette until we know exactly how Kolek is feeling. I also worry about Shaka never getting past the Sweet 16.
I can see Marquette losing the second round.
I could too, but I also could see.
I think Kentucky can make it. I think Duke can make it. I think that Houston can make it, and I think that that's it.
I think Marquette can make a deep run too. I think all 4 of those teams can make the title game.
Colorado can.
Yeah, I think all 4 of those teams can make.
I think Colorado can also make a. What's going on with him?
That's Bosco. You know Bosco.
He's just
pacing. He's on the move.
On the phone, going nowhere near the P. I think that let's go through spreads though, because he hasn't done that yet. We don't need to go through.
I mean, I know Duke's is 11.5. With Vermont.
I'll go through it with you right now because
Marquette's. I took the over in Marquette, Western Kentucky, 157.5.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Friday, Northwestern is plus 2.5 against Florida Atlantic.
I like Northwestern.
I don't know, man.
I think people are just jerking off FAU. Simply, it's so weird
They're
because
not good.
It's the same team from last year.
Yeah.
But I just thought last year they were so much more dominant, even in the regular season. I think they had only lost 3 games, maybe.
They have one quad 1 win.
To me, they were in a conference that's not great. They were not overwhelming. They weren't even the 1 seed in their conference. They didn't win the conference.
Lost to Temple.
They didn't win the regular season conference or the tournament. They didn't win either. I just don't. And Northwestern, I actually think is underrated because I think the Big Ten was probably properly rated this year. That they just were good, not great. It's not like they got 8 teams and they had 5 teams, whatever Big Ten got this year. I think Northwestern's actually not bad. I think they're pretty good.
The
only thing that scares me FAU is could they just turn it on again kind of thing?
Yeah.
Because they have John L. Davis, they have Golden, they have some of these guys. But I think Northwestern's just better.
You guys got FAU on your list?
No, we started talking like just the games.
Oh,
gonna
well,
go
did we
through-
get through all of them?
Well, we said I think all 4 of those teams I could see making the top 4 seeds in that conference in that region. I could see making like a title game run.
I just want to
Which
go
one?
through the spreads.
Like
Friday, 'cause
Duke,
we're
like I
not
could see.
really-
Yeah,
Duke
let's
wouldn't
do
surprise me.
Spreads Friday.
Marquette
We're not
wouldn't
gonna be able to
surprise
talk
me.
about it much.
I wrote it. Yeah, so I don't know. I think my list is too deep, but
You got too many teams.
I'll cross off Florida, and I'll cross off Duke.
I love Florida. They don't play enough
They don't play
defense.
defense at all.
That's my problem with them. I love watching them.
I got 11,
They're fun.
which is what I kind of had coming into the tournament anyway. So I
So
think I'm
name
still at
your
11.
11.
Based off the brackets, UConn, Auburn, UNC, Bama, Baylor, Houston, Kentucky, Purdue, Gonzaga, Creighton, Tennessee. I don't think that's crazy.
It's not crazy.
To win a
but
national title?
I don't think
Yeah.
I could have Gonzaga.
I mean, they're all
I could-
true Final Four contenders.
I would no
don't think
Gonzaga, no Bama.
you can't say Gonzaga's a Final Four
Yeah.
contender right now. That's,
no.
they're just not.
It can't just be I just don't think there's any merit behind other than just like they're due, and this is the year that no one expects them to do it.
They're also this is one of the worst teams they've had. I'm not saying they're bad. They've had way better teams.
Think about they had teams with Jalen Suggs and these guys that couldn't get it done.
Agreed.
I think
Or
just, this
Kispert,
team
like,
is
that
just,
teams
this
were
team is
with-
not.
Totally agree. But they've never seen a one like Purdue. So they're very Purdue can be vulnerable. So we'll see.
They also have a 5 seed. It's a harder. road,
Agreed.
too.
Totally agree. I think Gonzaga's got to be on that list. So that's where we're at. All
Have
right.
to be on the list
They
to
don't
win a
have
national
I
title.
would put them on my list. Yeah, that's where I'm putting them.
Put Bama.
I just like their I like their draw.
Bama has no chance.
All right, let's go through Friday schedules, Marty. Read them
Got
off.
it. UAB +7 against San Diego State. I'm a UAB right there.
yeah, I already bet UAB plus
7's
7.
a lot. San Diego State, I think it's going to be the same thing where they're like, oh, they made the championship last year. Like, they're going to be up. No.
UAB has so much momentum right now.
Yep.
Like it's not even in that conference tournament they won. It's not even that they were dominating teams.
Yeah.
They can score a ton. They're a bunch of Power 5 guys. Like Eric Gaines was an LSU guy.
No disrespect
They
to our
have-
guy, Jelly. I love Jelly. He's amazing. But he was kind of like it was Jelly or nothing on that team.
Yeah.
Now they kind of have like a full team, a lot of options for offense.
And Andy Kennedy is a good coach.
Great coach.
I think they can absolutely make that a game.
Next, Western Kentucky +14.5 against Marquette. I actually kind of like Western Kentucky.
I took the over and I love the over.
159,
I got it 157.5 is what I have.
good number. 159 right now.
Yeah,
I like the over there too. They both are going to score. Rico, what do you like there?
I'm just getting absolutely smashed. So I wrote a blog that they have the sons of Jamal Mashburn and Eddie House, and I said the brother
Who?
New Mexico for the Bracket Busters, and I wrote the brother of Obi Toppin. It's not his brother.
His brother plays in the Knicks.
I knew that was the brother. I thought there was a third
Who's
brother.
who's smoking you?
Kentucky's finest. Kentucky fans
Reegs.
coming after me. Yeah, so it's a tough week.
Who cares?
Tough week.
Like Dave was like coming after you.
Well, he also
It'll
came
get
after me
there.
for something else,
It
and
hasn't.
then it'll
Dave
get
came
there.
after you for
So
something else.
yeah, you got people writing open letters that I should be fired. So it's we're that dark hole's getting closer and closer.
No, we can't have this.
No, stay above.
We can't have
Ryan.
above water.
We can't have
Ryan.
this.
You want to air him out?
I kind of like. No, I don't want to air anybody out. I kind of like. I'm wrong, so it is what it is.
Well, let's slow down. Don't go who you like. Let's go next game.
Oh, okay.
Stetson, UConn. UConn. I think this is low as
To me, this
fuck.
is UConn or UConn
20
or no play.
26
First
and a
half,
half. This spread should be 34 and a half.
Yeah, UConn or no play for me.
First half as well.
What
Maybe
do you
even,
have- what
I
is
think
it at?
Bosco, you might have said it.
14?
Maybe
I think they'll jack it to like 16.
Nah, the half will be at least 16 and a half.
Yeah,
They don't just do
which is a
half. It'll
lot.
Always be
So
more.
it's definitely a lot. And if they,
with a team,
16, it's 16 and a half.
with a team like UConn, I'd rather take the full game because they're a team that will.
yeah, you're right.
Second half,
they'll
put the
You're
foot on
right.
the
I'm not
gas.
messing with the first half.
UConn played, I think it was Xavier in a conference tournament first. It might have been first.
Yeah, they were like
they
tied
were
and then
tied
they
at
won
like
by
half, and
yeah.
they won by 40.
Even Marquette was the same thing. It was like, and then they won by like 16.
Yeah,
It was obviously
I don't like. I
much
like
better.
full game there, 26 and a half. It should be 34.
Bosco, you said I don't. The team total over, I don't think would be a bad look there because they could probably pick the number they want to score if they really want to.
Yeah.
It just depends how much they are able to suffocate.
86 and a half.
Yeah, to me that's like a UConn play or no play. I think taking Stetson,
with it.
you're like holding your
No
nose.
chance. I'm with it.
Okay, next game, New Mexico is -2.5 against Clemson.
I'm on New Mexico.
I think I'm on New Mexico.
I have some thoughts here.
Say it.
I'm just putting that for the people because I think. Have you seen one person pick
No.
Clemson?
And
One.
No, but I think there's a stat.
I'm just throwing it out there.
I think I like Clemson.
Just no, because I had shout out my guy 3-point sniper, who I consider my consigliere for college basketball. He brought it up to me, and I was like, literally no one is taking Clemson.
No one.
Everyone's like, and listen, New Mexico just had this great run. They won the Mountain West title, and listen, I think New Mexico is really good. So I'm torn here because I think the way New Mexico is built, I almost have more faith in them than some of the other, probably even maybe more than San Diego State, who obviously seeded much higher. New Mexico is like they're super talented.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about something like the Jamal Mashburn Jr., Eddie House's son. New Mexico is really good. Really good. And that's what concerns me.
The thing is, Clemson is not bad. They're
No,
not
they're
bad.
not.
They're getting a bad rap.
So actually, hold on, I'll read some of the. He sent me some like good stuff in terms of like their, just how they match up.
There was a trend with 11s that I wanted to see when the 11 is favored. They're like trapping
Let me,
6.
Let me read some of this thing. Shout out 3-point number. Follow him on Twitter. He's really a great follow. He does a lot of great
Hold
research.
on. Before that, speaking of great places, let me tell you about Dave & Buster's. Dave & Buster's is the best place to watch basketball this March. 86% of American employees will spend at least some time at work keeping track of March basketball. Stop pretending to work. Watch the games at Dave & Buster's. On March 21st, Dave & Buster's will have an all-day $5 happy hour to celebrate the first full day of games at participating locations alone. $5 all-day happy hour is a steal. Stop pretending to work. Come to Dave & Buster's on March 21st. For all-day $5 happy hour and all-day basketball at participating locations. When you say all-day happy hour and all-day basketball, it's a match made in heaven. That's literally Kobe and Shaq, so give me that.
Incredible. So it's just some of these specific matchup edges that Clemson has. So New Mexico, 27th in the country in transition frequency. It's where they love to get in transition. That's where they excel. Clemson, 8th in the country in defensive transition frequency. They run a lot of ball screens at PJ Hall. Clemson 28th in pick and roll ball screens, 13th off screens. New Mexico is 330th and 275th in defending those play types. Clemson 28th in catches to 3-point per possession. New Mexico is 309th in defending that play type. New Mexico is 307th defending shots at the rim. Clemson's 38th in scoring around the rim. Hall, Clark, and Hunter. Just a lot of things, just specific matchup things.
No, I agree.
That Clemson does well, that New Mexico doesn't do well, and vice versa. It was good stuff. It was almost he said. I read it all. It's just hard to deny that I think I might be on Clemson just to be like contrarian. But I really do believe in New Mexico genuinely, so I'm having like a hard time with it.
Clemson almost beat Duke at Duke. I'm pretty sure they beat UNC. Like they're not a schlep. They had a little bit of a slow roll, but what we just said. What we have to remind ourselves is that last week isn't everything.
Yep.
It's in your mind right now. So you're like, New Mexico won the championship. Great. There's teams that NC State won a championship. Doesn't mean that they're just going to keep rolling into the tournament. It doesn't mean that at all. It could.
I think New Mexico's been really strong this year, though.
But Clemson also kind
A
of
tough patch in February.
Like Clemson's a 6th seed. You know, like we're not like talking about.
I don't know if
They beat UNC. Like that's a number 1 seed.
And it's one of those things too. Are people also gonna overlook, or not overlook, but look too deep into, like we just saw, like Virginia ACC just lay an egg
They 100%
against Mountain West team,
Right.
blows them out. Oh,
100%
Mountain West is great. The ACC is
I'm
the
looking
worst.
at Clemson right now.
And people, I think, get into too much overthinking those kind of things. Where like the math in that way, like the math doesn't just add up that way. It doesn't just mean, like this conference beat this conference in that game, so that means that like this conference is always going to beat that conference in this game.
Clemson also beat
You know,
Alabama.
they're not. Clemson's solid, dude.
Clemson beat South
PJ Hall's
Carolina.
really good.
Dude, look at this. Clemson beat. I mean, they beat UAB. Sure, they beat Boise State by 20. They beat Alabama. They beat Pitt. They beat South Carolina. They beat TCU. Like there are teams like these are teams that
A lot of teams in the tournament.
yeah, they lost to Duke by 1. They split with North Carolina and they won at North Carolina. Like, and of course they've lost some games, like different types of games.
Guys,
but
we have a caller into the show. George in New Mexico, you're on.
Hey guys, it's George from New Mexico.
Hey, George.
Hey, George.
I was calling in because I'm pumped up about my Lobos playing in the tournament. I was reading Barstool Sports this morning, and I saw one of your writers said that JT Toppin is Obi Toppin's younger brother.
Any comment?
Yeah, I do have a comment. I think that writer would try to spin zone it or make a law. George, you sound like a guy who's been around sports a long time, football, basketball. Like you sound like you
No,
have.
I actually only watch the Lobos.
All right. You only watch the Lobos. All right, no sweat. Do you think sports has guys with too close names that like the Ledays? You know, you mix up a Jaden Leday and a Ricky Leday. Do you think sports Leday? Well, Leday, it's spelled the same way. Do you think we should just get sports where if you have a last name, that's it? No more Smiths, no more Jones. Make it like Ellis Island back in the day. They change up your names. You ever think like there's just too many names floating around up there sometimes? And granted, you can make a mistake.
The problem is I go to Barstool Sports for all my
Agreed.
sports news, and you guys are upheld as the highest of journalism. And I went to read to try to help fill out my bracket, and I was like, hey, wait a second. JT Toppin's related to Obi Toppin? That doesn't make sense. And so now I'm worried about my Lobos, because we got writers saying that they're related to NBA players.
When you wrote that, did you like just because you saw Toppin, you're like, fuck it?
I was fairly
Oh,
certain.
am I talking to the guy who wrote it? Am I talking to the guy who wrote it?
The other brother was successful. I thought this was the third brother.
George,
I thought it was the third brother. I knew they had the one in the I thought it was the third
George,
brother.
a piece of advice. Following Barstool Sports, specifically college basketball, I would put all your attention towards this guy named Dukes. Really knows what he's talking about. Really always up to date on where Oakland is in terms of their pace and who is and isn't Obi Toppin's brother. So check out Barstool Dukes to get you right there.
Dukes? Okay, I'm going to look up Barstool Dukes because it's crazy. This guy, I thought he was the head college basketball guy, and he's making the most rookie mistakes that Google would take 2 seconds to fix. And it's tournament time. This is the time we care about college basketball.
You thought he was his third brother?
Or was the third brother?
You just made that up.
That's just not true.
Yeah.
That's just not true.
Maybe I got to go to an informational session. Maybe there's a video that needs to come out with a tutoring session. Terry goes to the tutor. Maybe we do that.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, love the show. Just wanted to chime in that there was an egregious mistake on the blog today by your head college basketball writer.
Shout out,
and
George.
it's March Madness.
Shout out, George.
Appreciate you, George.
Shout out, George. George, you think that guy can recover from mistakes, or you think he's dead? Hung up?
Want to call him back?
This will never know.
No. He made
Thank
his
you,
point.
George.
Thank you, George.
Appreciate George.
That could have gone a few different ways.
What's your ways to? Did you think it was going
I
to?
just thought he was the brother. Yeah, I mean, I thought he was the
be
brother.
Allen from Houston.
No,
I mean,
I thought it was his brother. I did. I thought it was his brother. I fucked up. So.
Well, I mean, you have to admit that is insane to not just look it up. Just admit it. It's okay.
Yeah.
You see,
You've said a lot of stupid shit without ever looking it up, though.
Not someone's last. If I see, did I think Jeter? Did I think that if I see Jeter, it's his brother?
Yeah.
I say stupid things, but you could look up a guy's last name if it's him or not.
I think it was one that he just knew. You knew he had a brother that played basketball.
Yeah.
So you just assume he's got two that play basketball.
Yeah. You know what? I think I said Kenny Lofton. I thought that was Kenny Lofton's kid.
Yeah, I think we all did.
I don't think it is.
Yeah.
Do you think you can get back?
Yeah, you just got to keep. I mean, I am a fucking cockroach. You got to just be resilient. You know what I mean? It's been 10 years of already fucking up left and right. So you just got to. You got to get resilient, you know. This HIPAA shit's turning me to a mush, and not just a bad gambler, but we'll see.
This HIPAA shit.
HIPAA shit is not good. So,
but yeah,
well, I didn't do it for 30 years, but
HIPAA.
Yeah, maybe take a look at Clemson.
I think we should take a look at Clemson. I think Obi Toppin's not coming anywhere near this game, and I think I'm going to go Clemson.
Yeah, Clemson. All right, what do you got for the next one?
It's Yale versus. Shout out George from Mexico.
Shout out George.
Guy loves the Lobos.
Yeah. Yale Auburn. Yale is plus 13. Let's run through because we're only at 4:00. It's 11:50. Yale's plus 13 against Auburn. I'm all over Auburn. I saw Yale play. They're fucking dog shit. They're a dog shit team. You getting smoked again?
Yeah, I mean, to a degree.
Yeah, I like
All
Auburn.
right, let's go.
I like Auburn. I agree with you. Yale's just Gotta watch him play a couple of games. They got like the Wolf kid. I think is decent. He didn't have a great game when I watched him, but over the season he's been good. Bang's
trash,
good, but
and
I think Auburn should roll.
I kind of like the over. Auburn, I like the over.
140.
Yeah.
Boise State plus 3.5 against Florida. I actually
or Colorado.
Or Colorado it's plus one or plus 3.5. Sorry, I just keep looking. I was going down the list and didn't see the end. But I like Florida against Boise State. I like Colorado against Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, probably the same.
Florida's very up and down to me. They're a team that can make it deep.
I might end up on Florida though, so don't hold me to that. Depending on who wins.
But I think that's another thing. Like Florida's in your face again, doing pretty well, and then I don't know. I think a little momentum for like a Colorado team, like playing today against a Friday, might help them. Texas A&M is +1 against Nebraska.
I love A&M, and it's not just because they're my Buster team. I put them in. That's another one I put it in Chicago before it even knew I was going to get them.
They're tougher.
Love A&M in this game.
They're tougher.
Really good guards. Obaseki. I mean, basically since he rose up, they've been a different team. They have 3 legit studs in their team. They're really good.
Who's your one?
Love A&M. What?
Who's your 1 seed?
Houston. And I'm pretty sure they played. I want to say they played Houston and lost them by 4 without. I think Radford didn't even play. He was their second best player. So I think they can. If they get this done, I think they absolutely can give Houston a game. But I love A&M in this spot. I think A&M wins.
Duke -12 against Vermont. I love them. I'm going to not talk about it because people say I'm biased, but I think Vermont.
I think Duke's got to have a strong showing. And also, who was the 12 last year that everybody picked against?
Furman, I think.
No, it's 12 everybody picked against Duke.
Thought it was Furman. It wasn't Furman?
No, Furman played Virginia, I think.
Furman beat Virginia.
Yeah, beat Virginia.
Who played Duke?
Yeah.
It was a very trendy 12.
No, it's a team that always makes it, too. Oh, it was
South Dakota State?
No, it was a guy who went to Texas this year.
Oral Roberts.
Oral Roberts.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Max Amos.
Yes.
That's all they had, yeah.
It was him from the year before, and then Duke beat them by 20. Purdue's -22.5 against Montana State or Grambling. Or Grambling's 24.5.
That's one probably I just won't play.
Whatever. That's
probably
just a whatever.
for me.
Who's that?
Over.
It's Purdue versus.
Oh, Purdue?
Purdue versus the winner of Grambling, Montana.
I will say though,
I kind of
Montana State fucking scores.
What's Edie's? If I could get a player prop on Edie's points, I'm probably gonna take that.
The over/under.
I know Grambling actually not as big as Edie. Grambling has a good big guy.
The over/under for Montana State and Purdue is 152. The over for Grambling Purdue is 140. 12-point difference.
Wow.
Styles of play.
Alabama -9.5 against Charleston.
I like Charleston.
Seems like a lot.
Over/under's 173.5. You obviously are a Charleston guy. Tell me something about Charleston.
They got a lot of guys that are just fiery. Like I talked to Kelsey last year, and he took a lot of pride in guys that have been around. Some of them have graduated. They had a guy who wore an eye patch for a long time. The kid,
what's that?
Bro, they had kids who had D2 offers. Like his personality matches with
the guy play with an eye
that
patch?
team. Yeah, they got a kid. The kid 3 and 10 are the 2 kids that I like. They got weird names. You can look up their leading scorers. But they're going to get out and run. They've also had a lot of bad losses in that CAA. I don't see Bama losing to Charleston. I think Charleston has to play a perfect game to beat this team. Their guards are good, but they're overachieving. Like you got Sears and Estrada. I think they're going to give them a lot of trouble.
But I could see
one of their names is something like Razadin or something like that.
I think 9.5 is a lot of points.
Yeah,
I got 10.5.
I like Charleston. Longwood, Houston, whatever, -24.5 Houston. Those games, I don't care who you are. Like you don't know. You're just like
I probably won't bet that.
Yeah.
Game. Won't bet a side at least for
Wisconsin -5 against James Madison. I'm going James Madison.
I am too. I think JMU's good.
JMU's good.
I mean, and they were one of those teams like they're 31-3. Like they weren't just a team that made like a run. Like they were the best team all year in the conference.
Went through their conference pretty easy.
They also they beat Michigan State early in the year.
Yeah.
Like this team is pretty legit for a mid-major.
They went through their conference easily. Like beat Arkansas. Like Arkansas State was like the hot underdog team coming in. They beat them by like 20. They did what they had to do. Wisconsin's also going to be a team where they're in everyone's minds right now.
Made a nice run, almost won the Big Ten tournament.
And Wisconsin's good. They also went through a stretch where they were fucking dog shit. So
and they also to win the Big Ten tournament, they made a lot of threes.
Yes,
and that's not always sustainable.
I'm going James Madison +5. TCU is -4 against Utah State. I think I'm going TCU -4.
TCU is maybe my favorite play of the first 2 days.
Okay.
I love TCU.
Yeah, they're into a tough spot.
TCU and A&M are probably my two favorites. I love TCU, love A&M.
TCU's got some dogs.
TCU is legit. They got a lot of guys that have been around. Emmanuel Miller. Why am I drawing? They got Jameer Nelson Jr.
Utah State's got a good core though. Asabor's a really good player. Darius Brown, Falzev, Martinez. They got a good little core of guys, but I worry TCU's just been in a dogfight.
Also, Danny Spriggle's never won a game in the tournament, so
He's never
got to worry about that.
That's big to know.
Also win at Montana State.
Jamie Dixon, a lot of tournament experience.
Big to know.
Does.
But all jokes aside, I really like TCU in this matchup.
There's another game, the last game of the night that I like. Grand Canyon +5.5 against St. Mary's. I think St. Mary's is also a team that they won 2 games in their conference tournament and they won theirs, but
Grand Canyon is another one that
Grand Canyon's good.
won the regular season tournament, or regular season.
A lot of Power 5 guys.
Yeah, won the conference tournament. Ton of Power 5 guys, very legit.
Led by a kid
Also-
who went to Kansas.
Also in
Kansas.
that game, the UT Arlington, the championship game, UT Arlington made a ton of threes, and they still were able to overcome, beat them. I think that this Grand Canyon team, I would not be shocked if Grand Canyon made a Sweet 16 run. They're a team I think that has.
I think Grand Canyon.
I think their ceiling is high for.
You know who they would play next?
Bama.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. They got a weak
Charleston.
They're getting a weak draw.
Like
a good draw for them. I'm saying.
Yeah, they do. They have a good
Grand
draw.
Canyon. They're a good team. And St. Mary's, and you could tell 5 points is nothing for a 5-12.
Yeah, it opened 5.5. That.
Yeah.
They have a lot of respect for them. Vegas does.
I love it. Bosco, anything else before we end?
No, I'm on Colorado tonight.
I'm on Colorado and I'm on Grambling.
Yeah, I'm on Grambling. I'm Grambling +4.5. I'm on over 134.5 and Colorado money line and -2.
Got to fine tune it.
What's your way back? Come on, tell the people.
Just got to fine tune it every day. You got to get a little bit better. So more reps in the gym.
What's that mean?
It's in the lab.
In the lab, more reps. Got to
Just get
turn
it.
it around.
Yeah,
Had a horrific conference championship week. Got to get hot.
All right.
Got to get hot.
We told him what Rico should do. We told him do a die bet. Tell Dave this is my do or die bet. Get me out of the hole, but the problem is it's such a big risk.
No, but I agree. I think it was good that Bosco waited. I think if you can find if Thursday you find something, you start to find something, you see one go
Something
in,
you fucking
and
love.
then it's the time. I think you wait till you see one go in, start to get your groove back a little bit, and then when that happens, when there's a pick that you absolutely love, that's when you fire.
Yeah.
But it's do or die for reasons because do your back, die. It's
listen, it's
pretty
tough,
dead.
but it already is tough.
I actually say don't give Dave a pick because it's usually just good or you're dead.
Right.
But you're in a spot where it's it could change.
Yeah. Yeah. Got to get better. Comes down to that. It's that simple. All right. Yak up in an hour. We'll see you tomorrow.